One problem I've always had when trying to make my savings goals was that every time I made the intention to save for something, I would have to write it down and remind myself to keep contributing to it, either by taking cash out of my account slowly or just leaving it in my bank account. But that was only when I remembered, and more often than not I found myself spending that money on something I didn't really need, or using it all on one item and not having enough room for other things in my day. And all this really amounted to was a certain level of stress and a certain level of disorganisation and anxiety about what I was going to do with the money I had. When I was about 10 years old, I read this book. It was called The Richest Man in Babylon. And the underlying principle of the book was that in order to grow your wealth, you need to allocate a certain amount to savings. So let's say you had 10 gold coins. 3 go to the things you're saving for. 2 go for the necessities, and 5 you can spend at your leisure. Now the underlying principle hasn't changed when this book was set, 2,000 years ago. But these days, our schedules are a lot more hectic. There's a lot more things we have to juggle, and increasingly money and savings are becoming something that is not as organised and is causing us undue stress. Now, we don't keep money in bags in the basement anymore, but we need a way to allocate our digital money, and most importantly, automate it. And the funniest part about this is I've known this lesson since I was 10 years old, and I never did anything about it. I never thought you could do anything about it. And that was until my girlfriend, about a month ago, mentioned this app she'd been using, a banking app called Upbank. Now, usually I'm the more financially savvy one in the relationship, so I'm usually telling her how to spend her money and how to save effectively. But the more I looked into it, the more I decided that I should try it out for 30 days. And this is why I think it's so good. Before I get into the reasons why, I just want to let you know that if you get to the end of the video and you think this is useful for you, you can use the links or the sign-up code in the description, and you actually get $15 for free. And no strings attached, you just get $15 for making the account. And I get a little bit too, and it helps the channel grow, and I'd really appreciate it. So, onto the video. The first reason I wanted to get into was that as soon as you open the app, you're greeted with this really clean, nice aesthetic for the interface. Now, ordinarily, it doesn't really mean anything. A bank should just do what a bank is supposed to do. But the way it's completely built around this idea of saving just makes you more inclined to save in the first place. And whatever makes you more inclined to save is going to allow you to save more money in the end. With the risk of sounding like a salesman, it honestly makes saving so much simpler. Before, if I wanted to save for something, I had to make lists and use a separate note-taking app. And I'd have these beautifully laid out goals of how much I wanted to save each week and where I wanted to put it. But when it came to actually putting it in place, it was erratic. The automation and the clearly defined goals make it something that just occurs in the background. You just set it and forget it, and you just gradually watch your savings grow without you feeling like you did anything. And I can make up to 100 savings accounts in this app, all with different goals and different allocations and different automations, which just makes it amazing. The other great thing about it is split payments. So let's say you have a main bank account where you get money from your job to, and if you transfer money into this account, you can use this slider to allocate how much percentage you want to go into each of your savings goals. So before that money's even entered the main Upbank account, you've already started saving. And the money left over you can just use like any regular bank. So let's say you have $1,000 and you set 20% to buying a car, or 30% to going on a holiday. If you transfer that 1,000 from a different account, or you have it already saved as this is where the money's coming from, as soon as it goes in, 20%, 30% is going to go straight into those savings account. You have $500 left over to just spend on whatever you need. Simple as that. And lastly, I just want to mention that there aren't any transaction costs or sign-up costs. It's free to make the account and just use it as you want. And I wouldn't tell you about this app, honestly, if I didn't use it and I didn't think this was one of the best things I've had for building up savings goals since I started saving. And it's also a subsidiary of a major bank in Australia, so you don't have to worry so much about security because it has the backing of the bigger bank behind it. Now, I don't want to just talk about all the benefits because they're amazing. One of the limitations that I found with it was looking around, a lot of people argue that the interest rate of it isn't that high. But if you're watching this video, you're probably a young person, and if you plan on saving money to grow it, I think you're much better off investing it in shares and ETFs, which is a whole nother topic for another time. Before I end the video, I just want to say do due diligence and research before you jump into it. Now, saying that, it is free to sign up and you get $15 just for signing up using my code in the description below. So you really have nothing to lose. Now, for me personally, this is the best finance app I've found for 2021. And I don't really see myself going back to notebooks and writing up my individual saving goals and trying to stick to them when everything is so integrated in this app, and it really just makes it so easy. You don't even have to forfeit your old bank account. You can just have this as a savings bank account separately. Now that's all I want to share with this video. Thanks for that. This is Share. Bye.